Well, happy Tuesday to you. And I am Scotty the Trainer, and it is Scotty the Trainer Tuesdays. Thank you so much for joining me. Whether it's my Google Plus or it's Facebook, or perhaps that you're watching on the YouTube channel, great appreciation from me to you. Thank you so much. I want you to like the videos, share the videos, comment if you like. Certainly up to you. They're out there to benefit you. I'm all about motivation, inspiration, education, self-help, proper self-help, which is helping yourself be built up so you're able to invest in others so they're able to help themselves as well. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it 1001%. For the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about how to go beyond the ordinary, challenging yourself, challenging you, challenging myself to go beyond the ordinary. Now, last week, I talked about one of the ways that we can go beyond the ordinary, and that is accept your distinction from everyone else. Remember, if you have a room full of people and everybody's wearing the same black shirt, everyone looks the same. They're doing the same thing. They're wearing the same thing. But if someone walks in with a bright red shirt, you know what you notice? You notice the one that's different. Your difference helps you go beyond the ordinary. You can check out my latest video on that. Let me give you the second point that I believe will help us go beyond the ordinary, and that's this. Going beyond the ordinary means not only do we accept our distinction from everyone else, but secondly, I believe that we have to learn lessons from adverse times. We have to learn lessons from adverse times. Now, I did a series on what it takes to make a champion. And I said in that series that champions can find profitability out of criticism. Now, what I'm talking about right now is not the same thing as criticism. I'm talking about times in our life that are adverse, that are dark, when you can't see a way out, when you're going through difficult times. Adverse times cause us to have to look for lessons. And looking for lessons in adverse times causes us to have to break out of the ordinary. Let me put it to you this way. Maybe you're living your life. You get up, you go through the same routine. You eat the same breakfast. You take the same road to work. You get to work. You see the same people. You work on the same projects. You have the same budget. Now, all of a sudden, let's let an adverse time attack you. An adverse time come up against you. So maybe they put you on a project and say, hey, we're cutting your budget. Now guess what? You can't do the same things with the same material. Now you have to find a way to make the project successful on a different budget. The adverse time has caused crisis, and crisis always causes us to have to become creative. Crisis always causes us to have to become creative in life. You have to do things out of the ordinary in order to overcome adverse times. Let me give it to you like this. Let me give you a story from the scriptural time. Listen to this. Jesus Christ, one night, is out with his disciples in the garden, and he spent all night with them. All of a sudden, a group of people show up, and they've come to arrest him. They've come to seize him and take him into prison. When they come to take him into prison, there's one of his disciples by the name of Simon Peter, who's a fisherman. But on that night, Simon has decided he's going to turn himself into a ninja because he's carrying a sword. So when they try to seize his master, when they try to seize Jesus, what does he do? Simon Peter pulls the sword out and he tries to defend Jesus. And he cuts off the ear of one of the men that came to seize Jesus. Now, what does Jesus do? If I was Jesus and one of my disciples was trying to defend me, I would have gave him a raise. I'd have gave him a promotion. But instead, Jesus turns around and looks at him and says, "Get behind me, devil." What are you talking about? This guy is trying to defend you. Well, just when you think that's strange, watch what happens next. Now, another disciple by the name of Judas, the betrayer, walks up to Jesus and kisses him on the cheek. And Jesus looks at Judas, and this is what he says: "Why have you come for this time, my friend?" Wait a minute. You see what's going on? The one disciple named Peter tries to defend you, and you call him a devil. The one that's betraying you kisses you on the cheek, and you call him friend. This boggles my mind until you start to realize something extraordinary, not ordinary, something extraordinary is taking place at this moment in time and in history. What Jesus was saying at that moment was this. He was saying, I don't need you to defend me. I need the adverse time. I need the crisis to take place in order to push me beyond the extraordinary. He needed a Judas to betray him in order for the plan to come to pass. Listen, when you listen to inventors who come up with massive ideas and great ideas, they say that the failures and the adverse times are the reasons why they were able to come up with the ideas. The adverse time caused them to break out of the ordinary. It causes them to think beyond their little realm and their little box. It causes them to reach out for extraordinary moments. Because when crisis hits your house, all of a sudden you have to become extraordinary. Let's say that you have bills that you pay every single month, a house note that you pay every single month, and you do that off of your ordinary salary, off of your ordinary business, off of what you do every single day. Now, let that business close. Let yourself lose that job, or something happens and the doors close and you don't have that job anymore. You can't do what you ordinarily did. Now you got to get creative, don't you? Now you've got to start thinking outside of yourself. Now you start hustling. You start looking for other things that you can do. Nobody wants crisis. Nobody wants adverse times. But there are lessons in those adverse times. In order for Jesus to be known as a Savior, there must be a Judas. There must be an adverse time to come in his life. In order for inventors to become the people that they are, the inventors, the entrepreneurs, there must be a need for whatever it is that they're inventing. Necessity becomes the mother of invention. What causes you and I to go beyond the ordinary? It's not just our difference from other people, but number two, it's also learning lessons during adverse times. We know whether storm shelters hold or not because the sun is shining, not because it's not raining. We know whether storm shelters hold or not because of the storms that beat against the doors and beat against the walls. The adverse moments in our life cause us to stretch ourselves, stretch our minds and our thoughts and our faith in order to go beyond the ordinary. Nobody's looking for dark days, but they come. And when they come, they challenge us to have to do more than what it is we're already doing. This is 2 in a 4-part series where I'm sharing with you about going beyond the ordinary. Number 1, accept your distinction from everyone else. What makes you different? That's your power. And number 2, learn lessons in adverse times. How many people have built great businesses after seeing previous businesses fail because of the lessons that they learned during the adverse times? Nobody wants adverse times, but since adverse times come to all, we might as well use them to our advantage to push us beyond the ordinary. Hey, listen, thank you for joining me on this Tuesday. I'm Scotty the Trainer. This has been Scotty the Trainer Tuesday. And as always, my friends, that's how I see it.